Artlist.io.
Get down in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you drop. Get down in the car, one time give it all, bust it open hard, let me see you drop.
Music licensing reimagined.
I fucked up this Russell, yeah, we hustle, but the oh my God. I fucked up this Russell, yeah, we hustle, but the oh my God. What is my guys? Know that they fly, know that they ride or die.
Hey, good morning. This is Jared and Nate over at eCarrierCheck. Excited to be back this week. We're off. We're out down at TIA. We're going to talk a lot about that today, and just give you guys some meat, as far as what we learned and what valuable lessons that we got from it. So, Nate, obviously, this has been a whirlwind of a week. I'm off tomorrow, but give me a rundown, man. Twice in 1 week. I feel privileged. What's up? What's going on, man? Tire Killer's in the house.
Thank you for being here, man. Gosh,
I love that, dude. You're insane.
Actually, you're right, though. It's been a crazy week. Just busy. I don't know if anyone can see here, but we made a weird amount of relationships down at TIA. So it's just about, getting back to them and then obviously taking care of our subscribers here.
What's up, Delia? Nice to see you.
Hey, nice. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so it's just been, trying to keep up with those connections that we built. And, we obviously dropped our new updates. So we've been, just answering some questions on that. But, yeah, it's been a really crazy week. Can't believe it's already Thursday.
I know, right? Yeah. Absolutely. So TIA, let me give you guys a rundown of what TIA is. It's Transportation Intermediate Association. They essentially are out representing freight brokers, right? Yep. And so they put on a couple conferences a year. To be honest with you, we're TIA members, a big supporter of this organization. They really go out and they try to, do those things in the government world that, maybe some brokers may not understand the level that they're taking it to, right? But, they put on two conferences a year. They just had one in Orlando. There was 1,900 people at this thing.
Yeah, there was quite a bit. It was a record, right? I believe, if I heard him right.
It was crazy.
Record attendance.
It was over the top, like how many people were there. Mm-hmm. It was just almost overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just people left and right, just from all over the place.
Yeah.
Just simply there to expand their knowledge in this industry and to make connections. It was a beautiful thing.
It really was. Something that it really made me think of, though, for those of you watching, those of you, are in the industry and you're grinding every day, get in touch with your local transportation club. Get involved. This was so much fun to be involved with. I wish we could do it weekly.
Oh, yeah.
We live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
so there isn't a transportation club. I guess Nate and I could go out and
we are the club.
Start our own club. But it was so nice to be a part of something and just grow and learn and network and feel. I got to say the vibe of this show versus last year. There's so many new young people, right?
Yeah.
It was just really entertaining to when can I buy stock in eCarrierCheck? I love that. Well, we'll keep grinding. We'll get there, man. The best were there. Swan Transportation.
Jessica,
what's up? Jessica's on. It's good to see you.
Thanks for being here.
She was at TIA. I enjoyed. I really appreciated getting some time with our users and getting feedback and growing those relationships. Give us a rundown. So we obviously went to a lot of education sessions. Mm-hmm. We went to a crazy amount of networking. Yeah. Let's break it down. What was the first day of TIA like?
Well, the very first day when we landed, a lot of free drinks, a lot of free food, but no, honestly, just networking, right? So we did a lot of networking, just kind of shaking someone's hand. That was kind of the first day, right? And then the second day.
Hold on. How nervous were you to meet people in person?
I was very nervous, honestly. Like, people think that it's always about competition. And when I got there, I was like, people are probably going to just, I'm better than you kind of thing. No, it was honestly like everyone was very nice. Just the connections were there, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to help each other. How can I help you? That's what it was.
Yeah.
But I was really nervous. And then when we first went to that first meeting, they challenged us to meet like 5 people and,
Yeah.
and give our cards out. That kind of broke the ice for me.
Yeah.
And I was able to go up and start shaking hands, explaining what we do, and hear more about their story.
Yeah,
So it was
absolutely.
really cool, yeah.
I do got to say, it's Orlando. There was humidity. It was 80. I was sweating it out the whole time. It didn't matter who it was. I was sweating it out. But I sure loved meeting. We met some of you. We met some of the users on our YouTube channel, which was super exciting,
awesome,
to be honest with you. We loved being able to say hi and actually pick their brains. Thought you were going to watch the first Silent film from the 20s in the living color. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm glad the sound's working today, too. We take a week off and things just didn't work. It was kind of hectic, to be honest.
We get better every day.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do. That first day was awesome. We networked from 3:30 in the afternoon until 11:30
at night. Yeah,
it was
crazy.
It was just
Yeah.
one networking event after another networking event. You're right. They pushed you a little bit on that first one.
Mhm.
Said, "Hey, give us a rundown there. Here's go hand out your card to 10 people."
Right.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I really did. I really
Mhm.
enjoyed that. It made me. We connected with some people at that day that just bled through the whole
Right.
week. They'd follow us around, or we had the opportunity
Right.
to kind of keep getting deeper in that relationship.
Right. And what I am a big believer now after seeing this, but connect with people because word of mouth spreads so fast. I mean, we met some people that we never talked to, and they're like, "Oh, I knew of you from Shaggy or Charles Mundy." Like, it's like, "Oh, wow!" Like, it does help word of mouth. So go connect. Jump in those Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Maybe try to get yourself out to TIA to hopefully expand some of that knowledge of yours. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
I loved it down there. I wish I go back right now.
I did too. A couple things that the first day was really all about networking. The second day is where there was a lot more meat. They had the awards that happened first thing in the morning. Then they had the education, the education, different rooms and things like that. How did you take that? From a we're always an empty cup. We're ready to be full, right? Somebody train us, give us more. We'd love to hear and learn. The education was insane, though.
Yeah, it was really cool because you could pick and choose where you wanted to go. We sat in on a couple. Just learning about the market where it's at. So we got to listen to some professionals, kind of see where their mindset is at and kind of see where they think the industry is at. So we got to learn a lot about that. We saw a lot of other technologies out there. Nothing like us, of course.
That's fair.
But it's good to see, all those, side shows or those side lessons you can go into, just kind of learn and pick their brains. They had panels up there so you could ask the people questions, maybe some things that you've been struggling with. And, believe it or not, some of the struggles you are going through, they also went through.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's really nice to be able to pick their brains and kind of see, am I going in the right direction?
I thought that was my favorite part about the panels. Not the panels, but the education rooms.
Yeah.
The education rooms, that were intimate enough that you could literally just grab a mic and or even just walk up to those people that are running those technologies. I loved that. We got a lot of notes on the shipper panel. We did quite a bit on the sustainability panel. I really loved that, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit
Lars.
I'm a little bit of hippie. Yeah, Lars at Freightvana was super good. I say we break down at least a couple of these sessions and we can start with the shipper panel. We can start with the sustainability one, and I thought this was good. I don't know if we can type this in. We don't even have it.
But we'll start here. We'll start with
sustainability. The sustainability thing, and you guys all got to check this out. OneLoad1Tree.com. And what Freightvana is doing is trying to erase their carbon footprint. Right? We talk a lot about. I don't even know if anyone's watching it. You guys understand what the carbon footprint is and all that aspect of your business. For instance, Brian at Tire Killer here, he's driving around. Great class last night, Nate. Thanks again. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks, Keith.
I love that Nate's doing classes for people. But it's definitely one of those things where it's important. We got to take care of this world. And they talk about how much one load creates when it comes to carbon, and we see the miles. eCarrierCheck shows miles. How many miles you reported last year, right? There's a lot of carbon produced in our industry. We're the second largest industry outside of the energy industry as far as producing carbon.
Yeah, makes sense.
So Freightvana has this thing. It's called oneload1tree.com. Anybody can join it, and what they're doing, it's literally $1 a tree, and you're essentially, as they move a load, they plant a tree. And I love that. One tree, and I didn't even know this. One tree absorbs up to 6,400 pounds of carbon dioxide. That was way more than I was expecting.
Yeah. Oh wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't go electric though. I get it. Just plant a tree, brother. You're good.
Yeah.
I get it. Electric is going to be an interesting trend. I need to go to like a hardware conference to really get a full understanding of how they're going to pull this off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if there's enough infrastructure as far as charging. California is really they're trying to go electric by 30, I think, by 2030.
Okay.
And I don't know how the infrastructure is what really. That's everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of my buddies always says you have to have smart. You're gonna have to have smart highways to create smart trucks, and he feels that there's more infrastructure around the actual highways and those things. But once there's smart warehouses, and they're talking to smart trucks, there's going to be some interesting connections, right?
Yeah.
So, but the sustainability thing, I loved it. I was a big fan of it. There was a great panel. It was. There was Lars, there was Michael Vincent, there was a gentleman there from Project 44.
Yep.
And then the other one was from a TMS. I can't remember. Reed TMS, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
And God, they were all so educated on their carbon footprint.
Yep.
So take time. You might Google it and look and see, what that carbon footprint looks like.
And if you want more information, just email us at, eCarrierCheck support. We'll give you some good info there. You maybe read up more on that. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, definitely. My favorite was definitely the shipper panel because I speak with brokers on, daily.
Yeah.
Trying to help you all, get to, crush your goals. And, we had the opportunity to just listen to this panel for about 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is just some of my notes here that I got. You can't really see it, but I got a couple good tips here that I'll definitely share with everyone.
See, Brian. It's like with all this smart emerging, we're going to be real stupid. I tell you what, I got to tell you, Brian, this is kind of funny. So my kids will ask Alexa almost every question. They don't even come to me anymore. They're like, "Hey, Alexa." I'm not going to disagree. You just don't need you don't need to keep it up here. You got it right here, and unfortunately, that's going to cost us, I think, a little bit later down the line. So
weird enough, actually, off topic here, but I was in my hotel in Orlando, and I was like, I couldn't shut the lights off. They didn't have any switches. Well, you did it all off your iPad. I was like, what in the world? I was unplugging all the lights. Anyways, but we were as we were sitting in on the shipper panel there, couple of things that I really took to heart was hearing those shippers telling everyone, freight brokers, take care of your carriers. Shippers look out for that, and it's awesome. And I didn't think of it that way, but shippers really want those brokers to take care of their carriers because those shippers have to take care of their customers, right? The product's going somewhere. And if that carrier, is rude at that drop off, that kind of comes back to the broker in a way. Like maybe you need to hire a different carrier, one that's going to be more respectable or more professional. So take care of your carriers, be responsive.
Yeah, I thought this was probably the most interesting panel that we sat in on of all the ones that we sat in on. The one that was there. So there was 3 guys up there.
Yep.
One was, he ran an olives shipping function. The next guy was, who was he with? Do you remember off the top of your head? He ran food and had our carriers, our customers too. I think that we forgot that sometimes. Yeah, honestly, our carriers are our customers. Hey, Jessica, you really hit this on the head. I mean, it was super awesome. And Brian, you obviously are on the road. You're backing up to shippers all the time, or now you're probably just loading in the parking lot because you're, a step deck guy. But, honestly, it was good to hear this panel talk about, hey, we need a place for drivers to walk into. They need to be able to go to the bathroom. They need to be able to get maybe a snack or something. Now, they didn't really talk about healthy snacks.
Right.
That's something else. But, it was super interesting to hear them go, hey, we got to take care of these drivers. It used to be, and we even saw this during COVID, and there's still parking issues, right, Brian? But, it used to be that you couldn't use their amenities. You couldn't get out of your truck. It was kind of a weird time, and now we're starting to see that pivot. And they talked a lot about this. they're humans. We've got to make sure this is the best guy. You guys rock. Yeah. I'm glad you're getting a lot out of it. We appreciate you guys watching.
Yeah.
So,
let's see. I also obviously got a good list. So if you want to hear more, I don't know if we'll get through it all today, but email me. Let's see which one I want to touch base on. Do what you say as a broker. These shippers really stressed on being responsive. You have to communicate. If something goes bad with a load, be responsive. Call them right away, so that way that shipper can get that taken care of. If you can't get it picked up, obviously no one wants to give a load back, but there's no reason for you to sit on it and not be able to get it done.
Yeah.
But that was one thing they said: be responsive. Make sure you update them. ASAP.
Yeah.
That communication is key from a shipper.
Yeah,
For a
'cause
shipper.
a lot of shippers have other options.
Right. Exactly.
The way that these guys talk, they said, yeah, a lot of my freight's contracted. We use, local carriers and local lanes, but we're going to use brokers when they can't flex up.
Right.
That word flex kind of kept happening.
Yeah.
In fact, to be honest with you, that's probably something really good to say in a cold call. And they actually talk about cold calls. We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
But, having that wording saying, hey, we're here to help when you can't flex up with your local carriers.
Right.
I think that's such an interesting way to probably break the ice with the shipper when you're on a cold call, right?
Yeah. And then that kind of leads me into my next point here was relationships with your carriers. Shippers love that you have relationships with carriers. And a few things that I heard was sometimes I think I heard this right, but do shippers sometimes notice their loads on the load board?
Right.
I wanted to say I heard that right, but if they see their loads constantly on that load board and you're having different carriers in, shippers notice that. So build your relationships. Get on eCarrierCheck. Find those carriers in those areas with the right equipment.
Yeah.
Call them up. Let's start building relationships.
Yeah. I definitely think that, when it comes to, our latest update, right? We really focused on how do we create more of a relationship management tool. And, obviously the big thing at TIA, and we're still talking about shippers here, but they talked about it as well, is the double brokering, the fraud going on, right? There's a lot going on with all that aspect, right? And so you can tell that these guys are going, hey, keep your relationships with your carriers. If you're going to continue to put it out on the load board, they're not going to continue to work with you. And that was something that I really thought was really interesting to hear.
Yeah, definitely. And to add to that too, even is, these shippers they obviously see their loads on the load board. They obviously are updated with the industry. So it's important for you as a freight broker, in my opinion, to stay updated about the industry because the shippers are paying attention as well. So my main thing was with this, take care of your shipper, right? Be understanding of the market, where it's at. We want to have strategic strategies for them. How can you help them cut back on costs? That's the stuff they want to hear.
Yeah.
Have some strategies for them. They'll probably be open-minded. You just never know unless you try.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I did hear.
Yeah. I liked how they, looked at their relationships as, hey, we'll give you some grace and flex on this load.
Right.
But when it comes back around, when those rates start to go lower in the spot market, we really want to make sure that you're, going into, hey, we're going to help you. You got to help us. And it's got to be no different than any relationship. There's a give and take. Right. And it's got to be at least 50-50 or 60-40, somewhere in there. When it turns to 80-20, that's when maybe that pull and push are not necessarily working the way that they need to.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I did like to hear that the shippers were using fairly robust technology. Now we, obviously I've been making a lot of calls. There's still people on Excel sheets. There's still a lot of people on, the old school TMSs, but these guys had sourcing platforms, vetting platforms, TMSs, rating engines, so that they know where proper rates should be at, and if you're too high, they'll give you that idea, So, they had a lot of the technology that brokers already have, carriers have. And so that was, it was just kind of interesting. Run 10 or more loads before they drop the good money to you. Yeah, Brian, you kind of hit this on the head. Brokers want to run 10 or more loads before they drop the good money to you. Yeah, you got to build trust somewhere, right? And that was something that I really got from this was boy, it's all about relationships, all about trust. This is why I love where we're the industry that or the sector that we're in
Right.
technology is that we're focused solely
Right.
on find carriers that actually work. You know, if you
Right.
the big topic, obviously double brokering.
Mhm.
100% of double brokering happens off load boards, right?
For sure. And
Unless you're the unlucky one that happens to call a double broker.
Mhm.
But if you're using our platform, we show you those people and
Exactly.
we help you understand who you should be calling, at least give you that ability.
Exactly. And it's saying something too. When you hear shippers saying you as a broker should have technology, I took that to heart because I'm a big believer in that. Our technology here is really going to help you, vet those carriers or
Yep.
just expand your network, right? So, it's saying something when a shipper's saying that for sure. So, another thing too was invoicing. I thought this was interesting. We don't really talk about invoicing a whole lot, but depending on that shipper's invoicing, pay attention to that. Make sure you're invoicing on appropriate time. You're doing it correctly. It's shippers look at that because time is precious, man.
Yeah.
Everyone's working. They won't really have time to just kind of go back and do it over again. So pay attention to the process of invoicing, and do it in a timely manner, and then ask questions.
Yeah.
So definitely do pay attention to that as well.
Yeah, the one guy had over 200,000 loads a year.
Yeah.
And I mean, my God, that is a freight spend. You know what I mean? If you think about that, I mean,
Yeah.
how many loads is that a day? Real quick, let me just look at this. But when he started to break down, that's 500 loads a day.
Yeah, that's insane.
Approximately,
Yeah.
depending on how many working days there are. But
Right.
he started breaking down invoicing, and I used to work for an LTL company, and boy, we struggled with billing. Really good at service,
Yeah.
really good at moving the freight.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, could we bill properly? And a lot of the time we could, but every shipper is unique.
Right.
And you need to make sure that you tailor your TMS to make sure that they're getting what they want,
Mhm.
how they want it, and then when they want it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And there are things that need to be communicated and worked through, such as accessorial detention or layovers or lift gates or
Yeah.
whatever it may be, tarping charges or whatever aspect there is. But man, this was such an interesting one that they grade their their carriers on invoicing,
Yeah.
their brokers on invoicing. Those how quick did you do it? Those things like that.
Yeah, so it's huge, man. It's things that you don't really think about. It's definitely, now it's time to start thinking about it, right? For us to kind of move forward, these are good things to kind of take into perspective and reflect on what you're doing now and what can you change, right? Jared, something he kind of told me when I first started here was you might just be 10 degrees off, right? Think about how you might be a little bit off. Let's kind of do it a different way. Something to think about, for you that are freight brokers out there. One last thing that I will discuss on my list here is knowing your industry, knowing your shipper before you make that cold call. And then when it comes to emailing as well. So let me touch base on that first part. Do your research before you call that shipper. Understand what they do, how they do it. On eCarrierCheck, we give you a good taste of where they move their freight.
Mm-hmm.
What are they, what kind of carriers they work with. Be ready to talk their game. They want to know that they're busy, like I said. And when it comes to emailing, they get probably 100 emails a day.
That one guy
on it.
was
So, like I mentioned, he encouraged the freight brokers at that conference to specialize in something. Maybe it's equipment, maybe it's a specific lane, or maybe commodity. So, when you're sending your emails, try not to sound like every other broker. Come with some piece of information. How can you help that shipper? Come with a strategy. So, kind of a few things I wanted to get off my list here, but I thought that was very interesting to kind of hear that.
Yeah, the sales call strategy with the three of them was really unique.
Oh yeah.
The one guy, and he was the smallest shipper of all of them, but he uses, I think he said 15 brokers. He kind of keeps it lively so people can get, the brokers can get cut off for poor service, poor communication, right? But when he's talked about, well, I get a lot of calls, I get a lot of emails, and he doesn't want to see, I can do anything, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
Right. He wants to see, hey, we do flatbeds in North Carolina to Maine. Do you have anything in there? He said even when he gets that call, he'll look for things that if he doesn't, maybe this would make more sense for him. And, you were getting more value with that. Right.
Right.
The other guy, they had a revenue thing. You had to be doing 200 million more. So he was only working with big brokers, big carriers. So that guy was a different level.
Yeah.
But something that I appreciated that he said was, we're going to listen to everybody. They just have to meet this criteria, you know? And so when you're going after those elephants, those whales that are out there, you're going to have to kind of try to pick and choose that deal. And this is why I do like eCarrierCheck when it comes to, you know, our leads, is we show you, you know, where they're shipping to, right? In the areas that they're shipping to, we show you the different types of equipment. So, you know,
and the volume.
Yeah. I mean, we can tell you if you're a mega shipper or smaller shipper, things like that.
Right.
So there's some really interesting leads that do happen on eCarrierCheck, but it really kind of hits on, you know, it really hits on what they kept saying is be unique, you know, add value, and don't take up too much time.
Right.
And don't be annoying. There was some interesting emails, you know, a lot of, I know everybody wants automated emailing and automated this and that. I promise you, the time you're spending on automation and sending out to 1,000 shippers, boy, if you really work on one good one and work on 20 shippers, that's going to pay off way more than this automation. You heard that here. Is these guys don't want to see automated emails. They don't want to see their name misspelled. They don't want to. They're not interested if you can do all things everyone. If they wanted all things everything, they'd go to big C.H. Robinson. Right? You know, they want a relationship with somebody that they know can get things done.
I'm glad you remembered that because, you know, that another part of that was don't take it personal, freight brokers. You know what I mean? Like these shippers have their goals. And if you're, you know, a one person show, like it may not make sense. So don't take it personal. There's other shippers out there that need you for sure. But yeah, you hit it on the head right there, man. Good stuff.
Yeah. You definitely need to know these people before you call. Even when we do cold calls, you know, I've looked up their website. I've looked up, you know, I may not be able to find who I need to talk to. I don't know if that's that big of a deal.
No.
You know what I mean? You're calling to find out who I can talk to. Sometimes the people at the front are not the nicest, right? Sometimes they are, though. If you're a human, they're a human, right?
Exactly.
Let's kind of keep it going.
Exactly.
What a wonderful panel. I learned so much from this. These shippers, you know, obviously have a lot of time in the seat. Some of them are doing intermodal. Some are doing vans. Some are doing LTL. Some are doing multi-stop reefer loads, which was crazy. It was just super interesting to hear this. Very refreshing.
100%. And it just, you know, it made me think of a lot of people that I've built relationships with already that have come to eCarrierCheck. So I really tried to take as much notes as I could to kind of help you all and give you some ideas. So like I said, you might be 10 degrees off. It's okay.
Yeah.
Talk to us, talk to a group on Facebook, or just reach out to someone. Right. So, but yeah.
You know, as far as the rest of, I don't have anything else on this, do you?
Not on the shipper, no, but yeah.
So, you know, as far as the rest of TIA, just to give you kind of an understanding of what happens, is there's these education aspects, and then they do like this little like pool area where it's not necessarily a pool. I know we're in Orlando, but it's a huge open conference room where everybody has all their technology set up, and they have booths, and you can just go have a conversation. And I loved that.
Me too.
You know, it was almost like speed dating networking.
Yeah, and it gave us the opportunity to really work the room and hit on everyone's booth, and kind of see what they have to offer and what they do. So yeah, that was kind of my favorite part of that.
Yeah,
you're just that networking piece of it. It was awesome.
It was insane. Loved every second of that. I do got to tell you, you know, my favorite part of the entire thing.
I can't wait to hear because I'm gonna tell you mine too.
That's fair. I'd love to hear what yours is. What was your favorite part of TIA?
Well, besides the networking, of course, and building relationships, besides the alcohol, but I've never been to Florida, so seeing the weather, just seeing the people down there, that was my favorite part. And I reflect on that almost every day since I've been back. So I love it. I'm hoping I can reflect on it every day as I go forward and continue to grow. But I was really thinking about the food. There's so much food there. My favorite is probably the queso and chips.
Oh, that queso and chips.
I don't know if you know any swamp people are on here, but queso, I love it.
I do too.
But the queso, and they had some good, like, I don't know, they're like little balls, but there's like mac and cheese, and I don't know what it was, like cheese balls, but like that's my favorite part.
That's fair.
All that food, man.
I loved it. I love it. So, you know, we're right there next to Universal Studios. You know, every single night, not counting Wednesday, but every night they had somebody that was throwing kind of a networking party, right? It was offsite usually. Dat, through love the queso. Exactly. It is queso, right? Dad, Jessica, this one's for you, by the way. So Dad throws a party, at the Hard Rock Cafe. It was really entertaining. Loved every minute of it. There was a live band and lots of food again, lots of drinks, just some dancing. It was a lot of fun. We met a lot of cool people. Met a guy actually that had a warehouse out in Nebraska, and I'm like, now we're having a party. Finally somebody can relate to Nebraska, right? Yeah. So I loved that. It was really good to catch up with those people. The other night, before that, they had a truck stop event, and that was a lot of fun too. They rented out this ice bar thing, and Nate and I got to go into like a minus 20 degree cooler.
Check it out on LinkedIn.
It was crazy. Very entertaining. I really enjoyed that. But the one night in between, there was a get together that Nate and I had the opportunity to kind of walk into. We didn't necessarily have the ability to be there, but we walked into it. And I love this. We got into Universal Studios, and we got to be a part of it. And, it was a lot of our colleagues. We knew most of the people there, right? And we got a ride on the Harry Potter ride at Universal Studios. Not just once, but twice. Right? I know, exactly. I know. So, we got to ride on it twice. We got to see Diagon Alley. For you Harry Potter lovers out there, it was absolutely insane. That's also where we got the queso, by the way. Yeah. But I loved every second of that night. It was so much fun. The Harry Potter Universal Studios is just a great trip.
Yep, definitely. And definitely have to go back. And Jessica will take you with us.
We will make sure we text you next time. Yeah. We promise. Yeah. We promise, Jessica.
I may have screamed like a little girl in there, but hey, it was fun.
Nate did grab my arm. We went down and Nate grabbed my arm. Yeah. I loved it. In closing though, and all honestly, you guys have to get involved. Right. And I don't care if it's just a local transportation club. I don't care, what it is, but try to get involved in such. I know, no phone call that night, literally heartbroken. I'm so sorry, Jessica. But I really can't stress this enough, how important networking is. This list of cards, and Nate's got them properly put in there, but this list of cards is going to change our life. 100%. We made some incredible relationships. We started some incredible relationships. We continued some incredible relationships. And really, at the end of the day, that's what this industry is all about.
It is.
It's all relationship driven. It's all about just getting to know people and seeing how we can help each other. And if I can help them get to their goals and we can help them get to our goals, it's just what a great thing. So get involved. Join TIA. I really loved it. I have nothing bad to say about this organization. They do have another network event coming up, it's in the fall or late summer sometime. It's down in Arizona, I believe. That's more of a tech conference, but they'll have another big conference like this next year. Right. There's other organizations, ATA, Mid-America, where Shaggy went. If you guys watched that, it was kind of fun to see him down at Mid-America show. Yeah. That was my biggest takeaway. Get involved. Be vulnerable, be scared, sweat a little bit, put yourself in uncomfortable positions, and have a conversation.
And boy, did we do that. We do that.
The entire trip.
Honestly, my last kind of closing statement is, don't be afraid to reach out to other freight brokers like yourself. There's good people out there. Like I literally met some down there. So even other good tech companies that were talking with us. We just we're in this together, really. Yeah. So don't be afraid to reach out, whether it's us or just another broker. Just get involved, like Jared said. So but for those of you that are new here today or just showing up, definitely check out eCarrierCheck. Sign up for a demo. We'll send you a couple demos from a different perspective. So if you're a freight broker, check out the freight broker demo. If you're a dispatcher, check out the dispatcher. Then we got one for a carrier. So then again, we're here to help you. Our number one goal is to help you grow your business. We're all grinding together, and let's just do it. So,
let's go. Let's go together. I love it. I know we're a day early. Usually we do these on Fridays, but I am off with my kids tomorrow, and so I'm jacked for that. But thank you for being on. Thanks for being so interactive. check us out on YouTube and LinkedIn, eCarrierCheck.com.
Yep. And every Wednesday we're going to start going live too and showing a different feature on eCarrierCheck. So for those of you who are just getting on it or thinking about it, check out our shows every Wednesday. We'll do a feature. We'll talk a little bit about the sites, and then of course every Friday we'll try to provide some good content for everyone. So.
Yeah. Yep. You guys have a great day.